What's up, folks? Welcome to the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. I am Jason C. What's going on? Wow, I just realized I'm wearing a lot of blue tonight. Look at that shit. A lot of blue. That's what she said. What's going on, guys? Tonight should be a really fun show. Tonight, there's been a ton of news in the bourbon world this week. A lot going on, a lot of moving and shaking, a lot of shaking and baking. Bacon. That sounds good right now. Kind of all over the place tonight, as you can see already. It's been a long week. So very happy to be hanging with you guys tonight. Let's see here. So let's see here. Tonight, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to start with the brand new Yellowstone LE 2020 Deuce. This is Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in Marsala Superiore casks. So Marsala is it's an Italian wine. Normally you get some nuttiness from it, you get some sweetness from it, some fruit notes from it. But man, it's the last year's Yellowstone. I kind of liked it. I felt like it got more grain forward as I got down the bottle. So we'll see. Hopefully this doesn't bring some of the same experiences, but we'll dive into that real quick, real soon. Let's say hi to you guys in the chat. How's everybody doing? I see some names that I've been missing a lot lately. What is going on? Let's see. First, William Wiley, who sent in a bunch of samples tonight. I have a box of samples we're going to be getting into as well. I just have a bunch of random samples that we're going to get into. Also some new labels, some new whiskey announcements, and man, just a ton of stuff. So a lot going on. Let's see here. We have Blind Squirrels in the house. Big Vic Backyard BS. What is going on? Story time is here. What is going on, buddy? Got to hang out with Shane Long over at Storytime Distilling. He stopped by for a little bit. We shared some great whiskeys. Yeah, if any of you guys are interested in some really great picks, check out Storytime Distilling. Christopher David's in the house. What's going on? Brett Marquette. Oh, Brett, it's getting close. The Jack Daniels bottles are almost ready to go. Rob Zilla in the house. What's going on, Rob? Justin Jenkins is here. Chris Abuzalencia. What is going on, buddy? Deborah C. Ham Turkey. Tim Courtenay. What is going on, buddy? Just got to meet him at the Pours in the Park from the Junkies event. Ed Williams in the house. What is going on, Ed? Honest Charlie. What's up, Brohio? Let's see here. Tim, looking gorgeous as usual. Ham Turkey, Danny Lynn, 4-leaf whiskey. Richard White is drinking a Yellowstone single barrel store pick 115. Let's see. William Wise says, have the Mets take out the Dodgers and face the Braves in the NL Championship. Yeah, the Mets are playing the Dodgers right now. They lost a close one yesterday. If the Mets and the Dodgers, or the Dodgers and the Braves, or any combination of those three teams is going to be just nuts in the National League. If they get there, you just never know. Baseball for me, it's kind of like football, just basically. However, baseball maybe even more so. It's when the team hits the playoffs, I think how they play and if they win is really completely dependent on how the team is playing at that time. I mean, if you're a team that's been dominating all year and then you hit the playoffs during a slump, that could be a quick out. So I think as long as the teams are playing well, it should be a fun postseason this year. Ben Hernandez, what's going on? Ready for some whiskey? Horses and bourbon in the house. What's up, horses and bourbon? Tony Tutos in the house. What's going on, Tony? Average Drinker is here. What is going on, Dara? Nice to see you as always. Everybody, please subscribe to the Average Drinker. Great content over there. Javier Acosta's here. Let's see here. Mash and Drum, is there some of my samples I sent you on that thumbnail? I think there is, Big Vic. We'll see. I'm going to pick them randomly. We'll see what comes out. Roscoe P. Coltrane. Nicholas says it's goal time. Kelsey Dime. What's going on, Kelsey? Dropping dimes. Suzelles is in the house. Bourbon is here. The Mash mood music. That's right, Bourbon. You got to have the mood music. Nice to see you, buddy. Everyone go subscribe to Bourbon. Let's get this party started. Just finished watching the Wilderness Trail and barrel reviews. Oh, thanks, Mark. Yeah, I literally just dropped the barrel review, maybe a half hour before we started. I'm not going to be able to, I think, film the rest of the week with work and just like the holiday weekend hitting. So I wanted to get that review up and running. So Yeah, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, yeah, the Barrel Vantage. All I'm going to say is that it's good, but it's no seagrass. So you guys can watch the review with those thoughts in mind. Longhorn Bourbon, Daniel Lerman's in the house. What's going on? Darrell Stewart, Adam Dorman, Dusty Dan in the house. Everybody go check out Dusty Dan. Darrell and Kelsey actually had a great Instagram live stream. They got to try this bottle, which we opened last week, which is the Foregate 14-year Indiana Foundation hazmat bottle. So it seems like they really enjoyed it. I will say it is a different profile. It's not the MGP profile I think that everyone's accustomed to. I think there's hints of that, but there's a lot of stuff that happens as that bottle's been opening up, and I take little sips of that one, but it's pretty amazing. Karen B. Ford, how are you doing? Ben Hernandez is drinking the Blind Speaks. Damn, the old maker's pick, huh? And a bunch more people coming in, just trying to catch up while I'm behind. Okay. Buki Dubro just became a new YouTube member. Thank you so much. Let me go back down here. Yeah, if I haven't said hi to you, I will in the chat. I just saw Top Dog coming in. What is going on, Top Dog? And a bunch of other people coming in. All right. Anyone else sit there trying to say barrel like he says it? It's like barrel roll. That's right, Miller. Yeah, Miller, I do kind of say barrel funny, I guess. Barrel. Yeah, I guess I do say it kind of weird, but yeah, it just it's just how I talk funny. What do you want? Darren Clary says, just watched the Vantage review before the stream. Glad I passed on it. When my star asked me, I agree that the barrels are very hit and miss. Yeah, it's like for every, so-so barrel craft spirit expression you have, then all of a sudden, like they come out with something like seagrass that just like blows your mind. And I know that wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but for the most part, that was one of the most unique, high flavored, whiskeys, rye whiskeys you're going to have, for blends, Dovetail, I thought was amazing. They do the Armida. They did the Armida, which, was, I think it was apricot brandy cask and a couple other things. Martinique, a Martinique rum cask, I think it was in there too. It just wasn't my thing. But yeah, that's what it is with barrel though. They love to experiment. So you can't knock them for trying. So yeah, orange. What's up with the orange? You want me to say orange now? I should just like do a video where I go like really like terribly over like Staten Island, New York, like the accent, like I accentuate even more than I already do with some words, because I try to really hold it back when I'm doing reviews. It comes out, but it's gonna happen. All right, let's get into this Yellowstone, guys. First pour of the night. Everybody, let me know what you're having in the chat, what you're pouring, what you're sipping on. What you're hopefully you're sitting back, relaxed, hanging out, watching me on the big TV or the computer, whatever you're doing. Cheers to everyone out there who's watching tonight, who's watching the Mash and Drum tonight. Make sure you hit that like button before you forget to, after you have a little too much whiskey. So the Yellowstone. So as I said, Marsala is typically fruit forward. A little bit, can give you a little bit of a nuttiness to it. I think that's why Marsala, if you've ever had chicken Marsala, it's typically a very sweet sauce that goes on chicken. Could give you some fruit forward notes, give you some nuttiness. But for this blend, it's a blend of 7, 15, and 16-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon. So 7, 15, and 16. Now Yellowstone uses the same mash bill as Jim Beam, so I'm guessing that the older whiskey in here is from Beam. Knowing that Stephen and Paul Beam, who runs Yellowstone, probably got some of their older stocks from there. Now, this is the barrels are married and then proofed at 101 proof, retails for about $100. Honestly, I'm not mad at the price of this. Now, whether you like it or not, $100 for whiskey that has 7, 15, and 16-year-old whiskey in the blend for $100. You're less than $150 in this day and age. Come on, you can't be mad at the price of that. The fact that it's only $100 and you're looking at 15, 16, and 7-year-old whiskey. Now, you don't know the proportions. You don't know if it's a itty bitty bit of 15 and 16 or 7. You could give me that argument. But otherwise, I think, you know, I dig the price on that one. All right. What's up, Tunes21? EJ's in the house. What is going on? Let's go to the nose, guys. Here we go. Let's see. I see ECBP A122 Kilhoman. Oh, that's, man, I haven't had Kilhoman in a while. I got to revisit some Kilhoman. It's getting, once it gets into fall, I start drinking a lot more scotch. So I might start doing some more scotch reviews. I know I always say that, but all the freaking reviews for bourbon is just crazy. I definitely want to do more deep dives into distilleries like I did with Talisker. I want to do a deep dive into, you know, Glenallachie and Klein Leash and a couple of these other distilleries that I love to sip on. What's up, Adam Husted? Rarebird 101's in the house. What's going on, Rarebird? David Jennings, the legend of Turkey, is here. David, yeah, I can't wait to get your thoughts a little bit. We're going to talk about that special ride that's going to be dropping at Wild Turkey pretty soon. We'll be talking about that a little bit. And I don't know if you guys saw this, or I'll show David this. I don't know if I let David know that I got one of these Wild Turkey traditions. I know that this is a bourbon that I have had before. I did get a pour of this a while back, and while it's not like the most, I don't know, how do I say this? It's not like one of the best, you know, old Wild Turkeys I've had, but man, I just love this bottle. There's something about this bottle that just I had to have it. So I'm getting quite the Wild Turkey Dusty collection all of a sudden. That's what happens. Yeah, those are solid. Yeah, Rubber. Yeah, I agree. I think they're solid. I still prefer the Wild Turkey, the cheesy gold foil, obviously, over that one. But all right, let's get into the nose here for this Yellowstone. Wow, that's actually coming off darker than I thought it would. Man, it's like a burnt caramel on the nose here. Let me see what the let's see here. Sorry guys, I am checking out the Met score. It's still 2-1. Okay. I ain't gonna lie, I'm checking the Met score. I thought I heard my phone go off, so that usually means that somebody maybe scored, but it wasn't the Mets game. Okay. That's what she said. All right. Oh man. You know what this smells like? It smells like can't I think of the candy? Shit, I love this candy. Whoppers candy, the malted milk balls. It smells like the malted candy Whoppers. You know, it's, you know, I don't know. I'm not really like picking up like this ultra finished influence on the nose here. Now it's tough because if Marsala already lends itself to giving you like nutty flavors, I mean, Beam stuff is usually nutty already. It already has some of those inherent, you know, nuttiness type flavor to it. So I can't say I'm getting like all like this, you know, Marsala forward influence. But yeah, I think, you know, and I hate to be cliche, but I mean, it's really just a lot of caramel and a lot of like heavy oak. But I will say there's a hint of citrus there too. I want to say lemon or orange. I mean, it smells nice. The more this opens, I feel like the younger it's smelling. Like that first nose when I went into it, like, wow, like I felt like, okay, maybe there is some good 15 to 16-year-old stuff in here. But the more I'm smelling this, the more it's kind of going into, okay, maybe there's more 7-year in it. All right, let's taste it. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching tonight. And the palate matches the nose for me. A little bit more chocolate maybe than I was expecting. But I feel like you get some of the burnt oak, or the burnt caramel, I should say. Not burnt oak, but burnt caramel. Yeah, more of that Whoppers candy. There's almost like a maltiness to it. For 101 proof, it's got a decent mouthfeel here. Let's see. Yeah, it is definitely not Veal Marsala in the glass. That'd be weird. I'm sorry, weird. It would be weird. Weird. I can't say weird. Weird. Oh shit. Yeah, I mean, even on the palate, I'm not getting like this overly finished, product. Do I have last year's laying around somewhere? Where's last year's Yellowstone? Shit, I don't even know where the hell it is. Let's see here. Ah, crap. I don't know where it is. Anyway. All right, so at 101 proof, this isn't going to be like this flavor monster. This is a very easy sipping, delicate whiskey. There's some good flavors here. It's like with finished whiskeys, and you guys let me know in the chat. Do you guys prefer whiskeys if it's finished? Do you want a big finish, or do you want? Let's put up a poll here. Let's do a poll here. So what I'm going to ask you guys here is to pick, when it comes to finished whiskeys, do you like a big finish? You want a big, heavy, you want to get all that finish? Or do you like it more slight? Do you like it to complement the whiskey and just kind of balance it out? Let's get the poll is up in YouTube. Let me know. Stood in line this afternoon for a store pick Weller full proof at $100. That you did pretty good, Whiskey Juice. I can't wait till that Yellowstone drops here. I'm a fan, says Jared. Yeah, you know what? There's nothing wrong with this. Happy finish. The big finish. Yes, that's what she said for sure. Yeah, I think when it comes to this bottle, it's it's solid. I don't think it's anything special. Would I feel bad that I paid $100 for that? I don't know. I mean, if you compare it to some of the other Jim Beam stuff that's out there, I know it's not Beam. I know it's Yellowstone, but it's a Beam-like profile. I mean, it's hard to ignore like the Knob Creek 9-year and, even the Knob Creek single barrel at 120 proof. Knob Creek 9-year is 100 proof, so only 1 proof below that. You get some single barrels. I mean, you could get to this profile a little bit, but I can appreciate the older whiskey in this, but at the same time, I kind of want more of the finish on it. Like, what is happening this week? Like, everything I review, like, I want more, and everything is coming so delicately to me. I don't know if it's my palate or if it's just these whiskeys. I reviewed the Wilderness Trail 8-year, and while it was a very, very well put together bourbon, I wanted more. It just was a little too light on the palate for me. Like, I wanted more flavor. The finish on it was incredible, but I wanted more flavor on the front of the palate. The Barrel Vantage, if you guys, I hate to show all my cards here, but if you watch that review, you'll see that even with that whiskey, there's a lot going on in that whiskey because of the 3 different finishes: Mizunora, French oak, and toasted American oak. And even with all those 3 flavors combined, there's a lot going on. But the more you sip it, the more kind of the oak and the tannins take over, and you're kind of left with wanting more on the front of the palate. And now this is a nice whiskey, but if you're going to proof it down to 101, you better give me some more finish. I think some of the finish is there in light that I am getting like a nice. There's a slight raspberry note that I'm starting to pick up in this. There's a nice little bit of a dark fruit flavor. There's a burnt caramel note to it. I do like it. I do like it. It's not coming off as youthful as some of the past Yellowstones have. Hopefully it stays that way. Like I said, last year's, the more down the bottle I got, the more youthful it was tasting. So hopefully that doesn't happen here again. Let's see here. Hey, what's up, Trev? What's going on, man? Stop drinking hazmats for breakfast. Yeah, maybe that's the problem. I prefer if any part of the whiskey be lacking to be the finish, the palate, and nose are the prime spots for me. I would prefer if any part of the whiskey to be lacking to be the finish, the palate, and nose are the prime spots for me. Yeah, I mean, I love the finish. You guys know that. But yeah, I mean, you got to have a little bit more in the palate to balance it out. Let's see here. I thought you were talking about finish, not the finish. Well, no, the poll is about finished whiskeys in general. Do you want a big like influence of the finish, whatever it may be, or you'd rather have it a little bit slight? Let's go to the poll here. So you guys, judging by the poll, 61% says big finish over slight. Okay. So let's see here. Yeah, you guys, I should have wrote like finished whiskey influence instead of just finish. Sometimes I feel like some of my wine finished whiskeys need some time with air. Maybe it's in my head. No, I don't think it's in your head, Terrence, because I really feel like the more a whiskey sits out with some time, especially a finished one, you usually get some more of that influence as it opens up a little bit. But for this one, this is... I think overall, most people are going to really like this whiskey. This bourbon has all the traditional flavors you want. There's a little hint of, that dark fruit. I think there's a little bit of a raspberry, that Whoppers candy. And probably because it's 101 proof, I'm wanting more. If this was a little bit more of a cask strength, I think this could be a real hitter of a bourbon. But for $100, if I got this bottle, I wouldn't be mad at spending $100 on it. It's, it's fine. It's fine. It's not like, gotta have it blow your mind type shit. So, oh, Rarebird, how is the doggo? Keeping you busy? Big finish. It's all about the happy ending, says EJ. Oh, what's up, DJ? How's the doggy tonight? Is she watching tonight? Thank you for being a test. You literally helped my knowledge. Oh, thanks, Dope Kid Danny. My pleasure. Question about finishing. Do they put whiskey in a bunch of one barrel type, then dump it all and put it all into different barrels, or just blend some of what was in one type of barrel with some aged in others? Paul P, yes. Yes and yes. So different distilleries will have different methodologies of finishing a whiskey. Let's take Cigar Blend, by the way. Cigar Blend from Joseph Magnus. You have, actually, I have one right here. So you have the three different, you have the Armagnac, the Sherry, and the Cognac. Those are three separate whiskeys that Nancy Fraley is aging. And what happens is that she'll mess with those barrels and then blend them together to create a batch. Sometimes you have one barrel that has had multiple finishes in it, very similar to what Foregate does. They'll just throw the whiskey and they'll leave it in there to age over time and just see what happens. Then you have sometimes just regular single finishes. Sometimes you'll have, barrels of multiple finishes, like saying, so like this Yellowstone, they probably had a bunch of the 7-year, or doesn't really specify what specific age whiskey was aging those Marsala casks. But I would imagine they had a bunch of 15-year and 16-year-old stock. They had probably a lot more 7-year stock, maybe aging that 7-year. Maybe that part of it was aging in the Marsala. Then they blended it all together. So there's a lot of different variations you can get when you decide to finish a whiskey. Let's see here. What is going on? Dog is busy. Question for folks: are distillers relying on barrel finishing hide their lack of creativity in their mash bills' ability to deviate from their 1-2 mash bills? That's a great question, actually. I think what you could say in the past, if I were to go back like 3-4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I would probably be more inclined to say yes to that question. But I think now, I think the market has gone towards finishes for everybody. Everybody wants more and more finishes and different finishes. Amburon, like they're getting more and more exotic. And I think people are just more curious about what that does to a specific whiskey. Starlight, for example. I think Starlight, I love them. They make great whiskey. Their stuff is starting to age up. But if you've tried the early on Starlight stuff, that stuff definitely needed more time. And I think they were doing all these different finishes to maybe hide that a little bit. But as their whiskey has gotten a little bit older, a little bit better, now the finish was trying to maybe hide a little bit of the youthful character of the bourbon and the whiskey. Now it's starting to complement it as the whiskey ages up. So, but I think everybody's want now just for different types of finishes. I mean, it's nuts. It's a constant. It's just like a constant flux of more and more bourbons with different finishes. Even rye whiskeys aren't, rye whiskeys can't hide from it either. So rye whiskeys are being finished in port, they're being finished in stout cast, they're being finished in sherry. No one is immune to it anymore. So of course she's watching. What's up? Cameron Lochner's here. Let's see here. Lucas Oppener, dude, love the shirt. Thanks, Lucas. Lucas kicking off the first super chat. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure the 7 years is the one that's finished. I would probably bet that's the case, Terrence, for sure. I think to answer that is yes, part of it because it allows brands like Nulu and Penelope to come out with phenomenal stuff without waiting 15 years. Yeah, but to a certain point, because brands like Nulu, I think Penelope is a little bit more reasonably priced, but I think Nulu is on the high end. And while Nulu can make a great finished bourbon, I think the high prices for them, make people kind of shy away a little bit. Yeah, Amburana, Tokai, Ice Wine, all that stuff. Bourbon Ranch says, I vividly remember predicting that we would see a lot more finishes in the future, circa 2018, and here I am, correct. Look at you, you're a savant, the Bourbon Ranch. You're a legend in the recon world. Thanks, Mark. Hey, Jason, is that Woodford Reserve batch proof on the barrel worth the search? Yes. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to pour some of that right now. This has become not only one of my biggest surprises this year, but it's become, it has a possibility of making, that Yellowstone is getting more chocolatey. That sip was very, very chocolatey. It's growing on me. We'll see how it goes. That was a chocolatey sip. This Woodford Reserve batch proof, though, I've said it in the past, Woodford batch proof, I was not a fan of these the last couple of years. This is not high-age whiskey. And, I know I've said it before. There's not high-age whiskey in here. You got to remember, guys, Woodford Reserve, Brown-Forman, heat-cycled warehouses. So they're trying to accelerate the aging process. That is why you do not see an age statement on this bottle, because they can't compete with the likes of an Elijah Craig barrel proof. That's, if you get it for retail, it's about half the price of this. So, and that's a very, very valid argument. The thing with Woodford Reserve, though, this batch proof, I finally feel like in this year, they've kind of maybe used some older whiskey. It just feels that way, unless the barrels they used were just like in a higher tier of the warehouse. They just got a little bit more intensity to it, because it doesn't taste to me like last year's flat out tasted to me like a young whiskey hiding in a heat cycled warehouse. That's what it tasted like to me. Whereas this, it's more rounded. I feel like it's just more developed and more cohesive than what last year's was. I mean, even the nose just feels a little bit older. Yes. Yep. And it's still holding true. I said in my review, this 118.4 proof Woodford Bass proof, yeah, the price hurts. Again, the non-age stated, I think hurts. The fact that it's probably chill filtered hurts a little bit too. It's lacking all the things that whiskey geeks like, that bourbon geeks like. It's probably chill filtered. There's no age statement, and it's expensive. Yet, it's pretty damn delicious. And I think Woodford Reserve charges that price because they just don't make a lot of cast strength variants. I mean, this is really the only one. Everything is 90.4 proof, maybe except for their bottle and bond releases that they do at the distillery. But this one's really good. This one's really good. Anybody else in the chat have this year? Let's see here. I think I forgot. The Mets won 2-1. What? Dude, that was a fast game. The Mets win 2-1. Oh, somebody in the outfield. Brandon Nimmo robbed someone of a home run. DRUM plays the game to save ace. Oh, Jacob deGrom preserve a huge win over LA. That's a big fucking win right there. Jacob friggin' deGrom. Oh, now I have to. I'm literally watching it in slow-mo right now. Holy crap. Look at that catch. Nimmo screaming. Woo! Holy shit. Oh, and look who he robbed. Wow. He robbed Justin Turner. Sweet redemption, baby. All right. It's 1-1. See, if the Mets end up playing the Dodgers in the playoff, this is how it's going to go. It's going to go back and forth. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts. And with that, Atlanta is winning 3-0 in the bottom of the 8th. So thank God the Mets fucking won. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Here we go. With all the bottles you have, what do you typically reach for on any given day? It's tough now because it's like, I get new bottles and stuff I want to try and stuff I'm going to review. And yeah, it's kind of tough. It's like one of those things where, if there's things I want to try that's new, that's during the week. On the weekend is when I'm kind of like teetering on, oh, what do I want to pour tonight? What do I feel like pouring? More often than not, I'm usually reaching for a Wild Turkey product, but I will say I do go through phases. Like last month, I was drinking a ton of Four Roses. I was going like back through the whole portfolio. I was drinking small batch select. I was drinking regular small batch. I was trying some of the different single barrels I had. Then I think the month before that, I was like, let me get into some of these. I was going back to like drinking like early times. I was like, man, I haven't had the early times in a long time. So I was having that for a little while. It's just really what's in the mood. And then in between, I'm drinking my picks because I love my picks. So let's see here. What do you recommend for a finished whiskey that isn't impossible to find? It's a good question. I would probably say, oh, there's the Yellowstone over there. I forgot I put it on the shelf. I mean, if you're talking about like another cask finished whiskey, I mean, you have the double oaked ones, which is, technically finished, like Old Forester 1910, Woodford double oaked. Those are relatively easy to find. As far as ones that you can find on the shelf, God, now I can't even think of any. There's just so much shit. Let's see. I'm looking over there. Yeah, Jesus. Like what the hell? Why can't I think of Joseph Magnus, regular Joseph Magnus, not the cigar blend. That's a triple finish whiskey you could find laying around the shelf. There's Minor Case Rye, which I always see. Old Elk released cognac, sherry, and port finished bourbons of their own that are pretty available. I don't really know if you want to get into the Basil Haydens, but if you feel like going for the Basil Haydens, have at it. I would not recommend them though. They're They're not really finished. They're just kind of flavored, honestly. Yeah, like shit. Woodford Reserve, not Woodford Reserve, Woodinville. Sometimes you could find their finished whiskeys that are available. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. You just have to check the shelf, see what it's finished in. There's a bunch. I mean, I'm sure everyone's just lighting up a chat here with Jeb Singleton. So I thought the Very Fine and Rare was outstanding, even at 90 proof. I agree, Jeb. That Very Fine and Rare is probably my favorite Woodford Reserve release in the last 5 years. And this one I would put up there too. But that Very Fine and Rare is probably one of the best 90 proof bourbons I've ever had. Absolutely delicious. Master John, by far the best batch proof Woodford's ever made. Thank you, Bourbon Kingdom. Good example of having different palates right here. We tried the Woodford batch proof and we're in love with it. Didn't hit our palate. Says the Bourbon Van. Yeah, that was me though last year, Bourbon Van, and the year before that. I like this way more. Last year it didn't hit for me, and some people loved last year's, and I'm like, this is hiding some youthful whiskey, and I could kind of taste it. Whereas this one is more of a cohesive blend for me. Let's see here. By the way, if nobody is subscribed to the Bourbon Van, you must do that. People just saying go Braves. Go Braves. My sister brought me the Home 118 from Jersey. Can't wait to pop it with my brother. Yeah, definitely share it. Another go Braves. Jesus, what the hell. Woodford versus Calumet 16 showdown. All right, yeah, we can do that. I'll do some head-to-heads tonight, guys. Yeah, the Thomas S. Moore's. Yeah, Doc Swinson's Alter Ego. Shout out for Old Forester 1910. That's in my glass tonight, says Jeff Winbush. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. Yeah, the Bowman port finish is a great pour. Yeah. What was the funky Woodford last year? That was the stout mash one, which was a little bit weird. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So yeah, let's get into some news, guys. First, we'll start with what's to see at the TTB. All right. Let's get into some of the new labels that I've seen. Not a lot of labels, but there is definitely a lot of news we got to dive into, guys. First, starting off, for all you people here in Ohio, I have to mention this because Watershed reached out to me and they said that they're releasing this bottle right here. This is Watershed's 6-year cast strength bourbon finished in apple brandy barrels. So, Watershed Distillery is launching batch 3 of its award-winning Watershed barrel strength 6-year. This highly limited annual Ohio bourbon release finished in apple brandy bottle is available only via online lottery. This is our most mature bourbon, making it our oldest, most complex bourbon yet. It's double oaked, first stage in bourbon barrels, and then finished to perfection in barrels that once held their very own apple brandy. Let's see. It's the latest offering from from Watershed's premium family of aged spirits. Is there a price on this? I don't see a price on it. Oh yeah, $90 for this one, and it comes in at 63% ABV. 63, so 126 proof, pretty high. So if you guys are interested in trying to get that one, head over to the Watershed site, and you can try to, win a bottle of that thing. I'm, Watershed, Middle West Spirits, High Bank, probably my 3 favorite Ohio distilleries. They're kind of closer to me. I know there's some other great distilleries in Ohio making great stuff. You have Horse Soldier that's here in Ohio, which is, I think, their own stuff. I think they're sourcing from Middle West Spirits. There's some great distilleries in Ohio right now. Love it. All right. Check this shit out. So Ross and Squibb, our favorite name to say all the time. Also, formerly MGP. We still say MGP, but Ross and Squibb. If you guys are familiar with their Rossville Union rye whiskeys, Rossville Union is probably one of the more underrated rye whiskeys that's on the market today. I don't think really a lot of people talk about it. I actually have a video on it coming out soon. it looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a redesign, distilled at the historic Ross and Squibb Distillery. So we do see the Lawrenceburg, Indiana on the bottom of the label, but it looks like on the top they have gone from MGP to now Ross and Squibb. So aged 5 years, straight rye whiskey. This is going to be a 94 proof variant. I'm sure, just like the Rossville Union now, we will see a barrel proof variant. That's just how that brand has gone. Aged 5 years, Masters of Rye. 5 years is not a bad age for rye whiskey. I think it's pretty solid. When are you going to review some Lucky 7, the proprietor? I mean, I could do that. I actually may have a sample of that in the box tonight, but I don't know. I just feel like everyone's talking about Lucky 7. Like, I feel like if I pile on, it's just going to be a kind of overkill. But yeah, I mean, I could review it. Yeah, the 7-year barrel proof is great. I didn't care for the regular Watershed apple finish. Love the Nocino though. I'm with you, Jay. I wasn't a huge fan of the regular Watershed apple brandy finish. I don't mind the I like it at cast strength though. I think cast strength it really kind of pops. Let's see here. I love Rossville Rye. I'm going through Lawrenceburg, Indiana this week. All right, cool. All right, next up, guys. Speaking, somebody mentioned Ryan Cecil. And here we go. Pursuit United. Pursuit United looks like they're coming out with a Sherry French Riviere Oak. We were just talking about finishes, and it looks like Pursuit United, Ryan Cecil and Kenny Coleman getting into the finish game with their Pursuit United whiskeys. So that looks like it's going to be a Sherry French Riviere Oak. I would like to get more details on that. Again, still 108 proof, non-chill filtered. Excited for that. Excited for the guys that just keep coming out with some new stuff. Fun fact. I was finally just on a podcast with Ryan and Kenny. So they were gracious enough to have me on. Fred Minnick was on the podcast too with me. I did not know he was going to be on. So keep an eye out for that episode in the near future. So I'm very excited that I was finally able. I feel like once you hit Bourbon Pursuit podcast, you're making headway. Redwood Empire, 15-year barrel strength, straight bourbon whiskey, single barrels. Look at that. I mean, I holy shit. I can't even like go over my excitement for this. Although if you look at the back label, it looks like these are going to be single barrels. I don't mean single barrels, but I mean like possibly like picks. So it looks like they will have a winter 2022 release here, but man, that is just going to be some. Let's see. I'm looking at the back here. 15-year bourbon has been carefully chosen from our Sonoma County rack house. Carefully chosen. So I'm guessing maybe this is some more Ross and Squibb stuff. It's bottled in Sonoma. I think the prevailing theory is that it is, MGP stuff, but it's being aged it's been aging in California. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. Leopold Brothers, who likes to take us back in time. They did their 3-chamber rye. Looks like they're going to make a Maryland-style rye whiskey, 100 proof. The back of this one says, for over 100 years, Maryland distilleries produce a rye whiskey known for its floral nose and soft, subtle palate of dried fruit. Prohibition and the rise in popularity of lighter spirits shuttered the last of these distilleries in 1972. So if you see the mash bill, we're looking at 65% rye, 15 corn, and 20% malt. If you go back to kind of the history of Maryland style rye, there's a lot of variations where a lot of people thought that, there were folks using 95.5, but they were adding stuff to make it sweeter. Then you had other Maryland style ryes of folks making that type of mash bill where it was a lower rye content, a little bit more barley on it or more corn. So it's an interesting study. And Leopold Brothers kind of going through and trying to create that flavor profile again. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Todd Leopold. The guy's a freaking mad genius. Let's see here. Leopold gets me excited. 3-chamber was crazy unique. Yeah, the 3-chamber rye was really crazy good. Most you would pay for the Woodford batch proof mash and drum. I would go up to, what is this bottle, like 120, 130? I'd pay 150 for it. It's about as high for this batch in particular. The other ones you could keep it, but for this one, I'd pay a little bit more for it. Hey, my bourbon journey's in here. What's going on, bud? All right, next up, look at this, Uncle Nearest. Uncle Nearest, who is one of the fastest brands in the land right now. Now their bourbon, or I should say their Tennessee whiskey, they're coming out with their own stuff. It's not just sourced anymore. Uncle Nearest made the transition just this year to making their own whiskey and bottling their own whiskey. But this rye looks like it's going to be sourced. So they wanted to come out with a rye whiskey. If you look at the back, it does say it's a product of Canada. So this is going to be Canadian rye, aged in New York and Tennessee, and then aged and bottled by Nearest Green Distillers in Shelbyville, Tennessee. So this is going to be a Canadian rye, aged in the States, uncut, unfiltered, straight rye whiskey. I'm trying to see if there is I don't see any proof, but it's uncut, unfiltered. So it looks like we'll have a cast strength rye. So I don't know if you guys let me know in the chat if you're excited about that one. Here we go. Let's see here. I wish I could find some of Todd's whiskey. How the hell did I miss the Barrel Vantage news? Joseph Danko. Yeah, I just dropped that review before the live stream here. Just killed a Sagamore Double Oaked. So far, it's the only rye I really like. My favorite Double Oaked. Sagamore Double Oaked rye is one of the best we've seen. I think it's one of the best. I mean, we were talking about finished whiskeys earlier. We were talking about what's available. Any of the Sagamore finished ones, the Sagamore Port, the Sagamore Cognac, and that Sagamore Double Oaked are all fantastic. All right. We're going to talk about one of my favorite things to talk about. You guys know I love to talk about these guys. Look at all the butterflies. Shit. It's Blue Run. That's right. Blue Run. If anyone has not heard yet, they are moving from bottler to distiller. Blue Run announced a major step forward with plans to build a $50 million distillery in Kentucky. Georgetown, Kentucky, to be exact, with an investment of nearly $51 million that would create a projected 45 jobs for Kentucky locals. This is pivotal for Kentucky between the tragic flooding recovering from the pandemic and the all-time low employment rates going on in Kentucky right now. So we're looking at a 35,000 square foot distillery and a 20,000 square foot rickhouse, which will be the company's first vertically integrated distilling operation and future headquarters. So you know what this means, guys. Everyone's saying, my eyes, no, my eyes, the friggin' butterflies. Yeah. So I'll take those off the screen. So Blue Run now moving from just bottling to producing. Now, you know what this means? This means I can't really shit on them anymore. Well, I can, depending on what their prices are for their young whiskey. But I don't expect their prices to go low now because of this. I probably expect them to go up because now they have a brand new distillery with a huge investment. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, honestly, I love that. If you have such a successful brand, just kind of pushing all these bottles that they've been doing with the different colored butterflies and, you know, charging people out the ass for younger whiskey, and people are buying it up. I'm glad they've decided to go the distillery route. I think that's a little bit more respectable than what they're doing now. However, as they grow, as the whiskey it's not even built yet. So we're a ways from any of that stuff getting aged up to being available. But we'll see how it goes in the next several years. We'll see if they push out some of the 3-4 year old bourbon or rye whiskey that they're going to be making from their own distillery. These distilleries tend to pop up fast. That's a very big project. It looks like it's going to be a very big distillery. I'm sure it's going to be a huge destination for people going to Kentucky who love Blue Run. So we'll see what happens. What do you guys think about it in the chat? Get out your net. Going to be people waiting in line to catch all the butterflies. That's right. Braves. Oh wow. The Rockies came back with 2 runs. Man, close. It means the price of Blue Run just doubled. That's where I think it's going, Patrick. I think it's going to mean prices will go up a little bit for even their younger stuff, but we'll see. Let's see. Turkeys eat butterflies. Yes, they do. All the butterflies. All right. So another unique thing that's happening that just kind of popped up is this. Now WhistlePig Piggyback 100% rye doesn't look like anything special, but look at the bottle on the right. That's right. WhistlePig is hitting us with a bourbon. WhistlePig has officially announced the shared details for the Piggyback bourbon. The whiskey is made from a mash bill WhistlePig describes as super high corn, spent 6 years maturing in charred 3 barrels before being bottled at 100 proof. Just like our rye, Piggyback 100 proof bourbon offers bigger age, higher proof, and bolder grain profile than most traditional American whiskeys. We are proud to push each part of the whiskey making process to limit in the name of quality and taste that stands ahead of the pack. $50 for this bottle when it hits. 100 proof bourbon. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. 6-year-old high corn. You know, they even say in the press release that it's, you know, slightly grain forward. So high corn. I think that's probably going to be a very, very overly sweet bourbon, which if you're going to get into the game of bourbon these days, you might as well make it sweet. Everybody is making shit sweeter. That's just a trend where it's going. So I think WhistlePig is just probably capitalizing on that a little bit. So we'll see how it is. JP bringing up a great point in Russell's Single Warehouse. I can't wait. So let's get into that right now. This bottle is so sexy, or this picture is. Look at that. Oh yeah, Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse. So this was announced this week as well. So some of the details on this. This is the first bourbon in the new Single Rickhouse collection. Now, this is completely focused. Now, when they talk about Single Rickhouse, these are Single Rickhouse releases, bourbon specifically chosen from specific warehouses. As you guys know, turkey heads alike, you know, Warehouse K, Warehouse C, A, B. Is it Camp Nelson? Is it Tyrone? All these different warehouses can give the magical wild turkey bourbon a different flavor profile. Camp Nelson is one of the more, I think, coveted bourbons that come out of any of the warehouses from Wild Turkey. So they announced this limited edition whiskey collection, the Single Rickhouse. Each whiskey in the collection will come from barrels aged in an individual rickhouse, past or present. Russell Reserve will use the series to explore the role different resting places have on whiskeys. The first release in the series is Camp Nelson C. This features liquid from 72 barrels from Camp Nelson C, a 7-story rickhouse that is now dismantled. It was built in 1946, and then it was decommissioned in 2021. So this is a good way for folks to you know, taste stuff that's not going to be able to be tasted anymore, which is just going to bring on more of the rarity and bring on more of the desire to own one of these bottles. So the rickhouse was made from timber and lined with tin to control internal temperatures. Let's see here. The selected barrels for the release were center cut, also considered the sweet spot on floors 3 and 4 of the warehouse. It's aged more than 10 years old, bottled at 112.4, which is barrel proof. This will be available for limited time at select U.S. retailers at the Wild Turkey Distillery for a suggested retail price of $250. So this is one of those bourbons that, yeah, I want really badly. But you know, that's going to be exactly Bourbon Wrench, dismantled warehouse, AKA Tater Bait, completely. And you know what? I'm going to be one of those taters trying to get that bottle just because I love. It's just yeah, in Top Shelf Dustin, it's tough because I think Campari is starting to release more of these. I don't know. I don't want to say tatery wild turkey bottles, but yeah, maybe that's what it is. I still love the single barrel picks from Russell's, but yeah, that's gonna be a heavily coveted bottle for sure. Yeah, $250. I'll stick with Russell Reserve 10. Too many limited releases now is all I say. That's all the market is now. It's limited releases. How can they justify $250? You know why, Ham Turkey? Because Campari says it's a dismantled warehouse. It's barrel proof. No one will be able to get it to taste it ever again. It's a limited supply of barrels. Therefore, that warrants $250. I mean, look at Master's Keep. Master's Keep has gone up in price over the last couple of years. I think Master's Keep will just keep going up as the years go by. This is just the world of whiskey we're in. $250 and 70 barrels. Okay, wait, that's only 7,000 and 9,000 bottles. Luckily, I love turkey, but man, this screams Tornado Survivor, Warehouse C, Buffalo Trace. Like, let the whiskey speak for itself. Don't try and ride some bullcrap story. Well, you got to remember, Trev, as much as we love Wild Turkey, they are still owned by a very, very large conglomerate called Campari. So, as much as we love the Russells and as much as we love that family atmosphere when you go to Wild Turkey, you got to remember who's kind of steering the ship. And I think Campari has basically, and I know David Jennings has mentioned it, it's like Campari has kind of figured out a little bit of the popularity of Wild Turkey and what it means and the devotion to it and the fandom for it. And I think they're just capitalizing on it. And unfortunately, that's where we're in. Yeah, 250 is not easy. Yep. Yeah, I mean, 250 is more expensive than Master's Keep, if you think about it. And Master's Keep, like the Master's Keep 17-year bottle and bond, at retail, that was what? That was like 160, 170, 180 when it came out. I mean, that's cheaper. That's even cheaper than what we're seeing from this. So, yeah, I totally agree, Trav. They're using the dismantled warehouse part of it to warrant the high prices, but that's what it is. When your picks are better, what's the point? I mean, yeah, it could be. I mean, I happen to think that I had a pick that David Jennings did, Rarebird 101, that I swear, I mean, it got close. It was right up there with Russell's Reserve 13. So even the pick that me and Scott did, the Look at the Birdie pick, that was one of our first picks, I could have put that right up against Russell's 13. You know what? Maybe we'll do that as a little head-to-head. Yeah. Rarebird is back, of course. I said his name. Yeah, it's definitely not a BS story. It's a real story. I think people just say BS story because they just think they wrap a story around a bottle and they're using that story to sell it. But it's not a BS story. I will say that. Yeah, Rick House, Camp Nelson C is no more. Let's see here. Yeah, the Russell Reserve 2002 and 2003 were 250. I think there's going to be more bottles of this CNC than there were of those, though, Rarebird, if I'm correct. They're not using the story as a selling point. It's an annual release. Each one will be 250. Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, as they said in the press release, each bottling is going to be from a different warehouse. So it's not like each warehouse is going to be like dismantled because that's what it is. But it's just going to show you the different profiles from different warehouses. Now the argument's going to be is like, why am I going to pay $250 for that? I can get it from a pick. So I think that's where your money lies. If you want to pay $250 to get something a little bit more limited, have at it. But honestly, if you just search out Russell's Reserve picks like I do, you can taste how different warehouses at Wild Turkey have different influences on the mash bill. So, no, I do not have any media samples of that. I'm actually not on the whatchamacallit, the mailing list for well, I don't think David is either for Campari. It's crazy. I'm not sure where I'm not gonna say anything and get myself in more trouble. All right, probably the biggest news that we heard this week. This is and I know Trev might, his heart might hurt a little bit after this one. Yeah. Some big names leaving Maker's Mark this week. Big. I mean, we're talking Denny Potter. And we're the master distiller and the head blender are stepping down from Maker's Mark. Denny Potter, Jane Bowie are exiting the company with the goal of pursuing a new venture. Maker's Mark announced just yesterday. Denny Potter was the master distiller, and Jane Bowie is the head of blending and innovation. I mean, she was the one cultivating all these amazing different staves in order to, create all the wood finishing series for Maker's Mark. They have aspirations to make their own whiskey. So Maker's Mark Managing Director Rob Samuel said the following in a newsletter. For nearly 7 decades, Maker's Mark has stayed true to the vision of our founders, Bill and Margie Samuels, to be innovators. All right, let me skip down. People like Denny Potter, General Manager and Master Distiller, and Jane Bowie, Head of Innovation and Blending. Just like our founders, Denny and Jane have also had an entrepreneurial itch and have expressed a desire to blaze their own trails in the bourbon industry with a new venture. While Denny and Jane will depart with our utmost thanks on September 2nd, they will always be members of the Maker's Mark family. So Bowie has been with Beam Suntory and Maker's Mark since 2007. Denny Potter was spent 2003 to 2010 with Maker's Mark. Then he kind of bounced around, and he was pretty well known working at Heaven Hill. And then he returned to Maker's as general manager and master distiller in 2018. It was a big deal when he returned to Maker's Mark. That's kind of where he wanted to go. But yeah, it looks like Denny and Jane Bowie want to do their own thing. And this seems to become almost like a trend. I mean, you're seeing master taster Jackie Zykin left. She left to go start Hidden Barn. Not too long ago, master distiller over at Jack Daniel's left to start his own company, his own whiskey brand. Was it Jacob Call over at Blue Note? He left. I mean, just all these different folks leaving to do their own thing. And I have some thoughts on this. I really think it's an itch to what is going on? Who is this Mark guy? Oh, Mike M. I missed that. Just finished up my Bugaboo Grade 7 Abundance. Going forward to the next match and journal releases. Cheers, Jason. Yeah, the next one we have coming out is our 2 Barrel Kings. It'll be coming out soon. Campari has noticed a secondary, so if you've ever flipped a bottle or purchased a flip bottle, you have no room to complain about prices going up. Yeah, I think we're all a little bit to blame about prices going up in whatever capacity they may be. Just for all the buying and the want and the desire for bourbons, these days. Let's see here. Greg Metz going to Old Elk is another example. Yeah, Greg Metz. This Mark guy is handled. Richie Z. Oh, okay. All right, thanks. Yeah, Marianne Eves as well. Joseph Daniel says that barn should have stayed hidden. Let's see here. Oh man, I hope Mark isn't giving you guys too much trouble. Shit, what the hell's going on? All right, I'll have to read it back. Anyway, sorry, man. Apparently, this guy knows who I am and is talking. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, Dusty Dan sounded the same with Mark. Okay, no worries. So now, if there is of an industry now, if you're a master distiller at Maker's Mark, Maker's Mark is hyper focused on consistency in their product. It really doesn't leave a lot of room for creativity. Yes, you have the wood finishing series, which was kind of Jane Bowie's area, but for like Denny Potter, from his point of view, there's probably a little bit of an itch for him to kind of do his own thing. Now, him and Jane together, that could be fucking magical. I mean, Jane Bowie was doing some stuff. I mean, when we went there for a pick selection, Jane had been working on like wood species that we wouldn't see, like our great grandchildren wouldn't see yet. I mean, stuff that was way down the line, future focused. And I think maybe she feels like she had a nice setup for Maker's Mark. They're kind of set. Let's move on. Let's do my own thing. But her and Denny together could be an absolute powerhouse matchup. I think it's just kind of the same thing that's been happening, that we've been seeing. I think the popularity of bourbon, I think maybe the corporate strangleholds of some of the bigger name distilleries, maybe some of the, because you got to remember the Samuels, like I said, they are super focused on their consistent, what they are bottling has to be the most consistent whiskey known to man. I mean, they rotate their barrels, they move them up and down the warehouse just to get that consistency. That's why they do private selects. If they rolled out like 5 barrels for a barrel selection, if you can do a single barrel selection at Maker's Mark, a traditional barrel selection, it's going to be boring because you're not going to have there's going to be barely any variation. That's what Maker's Mark is. That's what they do. So I can see them maybe getting a little bit, maybe Jane's like, there's only so many finishes I could do here. And then maybe Denny is like, I want to work with different mash bills. So together, I'm excited to see what their new venture will be. Will they be working with another distillery? Do they have aspirations of working with the distillery that's already open? Maybe they'll be kind of transition to someone that's already making some stuff that has a little bit more pliability, a little bit more of a creative, of a creative touch and feel that Denny and Jane can kind of get into. We'll see. I'm all about it though. I'm all about it. What's up, Bubble Bath Bird? Yes, taste vision. They say that all the time. Taste vision. That's what Maker's Mark says all the time. It's a sign of the growth catching up to allow these folks with mega experience success to be wooed by opportunity. Totally. That's what it's about. It's all about opportunity and creating something they could call their own, especially when they know how many people are buying bourbon and whiskeys. All right, let's get into the Boxo samples. Boxo samples. I don't know. I don't know what's in this box, but we're about to taste some stuff. All right. I did some Russell's picks with Denny and Jane, and they are awesome folks. Yeah, Rare, I had the opportunity to meet Jane Bowie once, and she was just completely lovely and so nice and so accommodating to answer questions. I haven't gotten a chance to meet Denny yet, but from what I've heard, he's just a great dude as well. Whiskey Central, what's up, Shayla Luela? ADHD says, hell, I'm out of here too. I'm leaving ADHD Whiskey to go start some weird shit with the Mash and Drum in Fred Minnick's backyard. Camouflage creepers coming soon. Like, comment, subscribe. ADHD Whiskey, I think people would watch that. I really, really do. I think people would watch us dressing camouflage, drinking whiskey in Fred Minnick's backyard. That wouldn't be weird at all. Penelope Toast and Mash and Journey pick delicious. Mark Mace, isn't that shit delicious? That toast is so good. This reminds me of pulling samples from my mega box. Yes, this is what it is. It's mega box. Here are all the samples. Look at that, guys. We're just going to kind of root around in here, and I'm just going to pick something out. Let's see what we got. There's a bunch of different stuff in here. I'm going with this one first. And looky what we have here. Did I just sound like Biff? Did I just sound like Biff from Back to the Future? Well, looky what we have here. What's up, McFly? All right. This, William Wiley in the chat sent me a whole box of stuff from ASW, including this bottle, the Red X whiskey. This, we were talking about finishes. They decided to do their Fiddler bourbon in an Amburana cask. So Amburana getting real popular. ASW makes some great whiskey. Let's try the Amburana finish. Let's see what how this is. Let's I'm gonna put a little music on, like I always like to do. Here we go. We'll do a little 80s jams. All right. Yep, that's all Amburana. Amburana, no matter whose whiskey it is just like apples and cinnamon and apple pie and apple pastry. It's like one of those fake Drake's cakes, apple, you know, the apple pies. That's what I get on here. Oh, wow. That does not finish like some Amburana picks I've had. You know, I think I actually have Rare Birds Amburana pick right here. Is this Rare Birds? Oh no, this is the rye. This is the rye in Amburana Brazilian barrels. Friggin' whiskey's everywhere. What's up, Whiskey Dictionary? Yes, Rare Bird, we are in an 80s movie right now. That's right. So grab your Z Cavaricis, put on your snap bracelet. Tease your hair up and have some whiskey with me. Gotta reach the glass for the GOAT, right? Serena with an electric win over the 2-seed in the last U.S. Open. Did Serena win again tonight? Are you serious? Wow. Holy hell. Cheers. ADHD Whiskey says, Ryan Alves describes Amburana, especially Rare Birds, as Cinnamon Toast Crunch milk. So, oh, yes. So accurate. It really is. It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It is just all apple cinnamon all day long. And ADHD Whiskey, I think actually even on this one, because of the malt, there's a more of a malty character to this, and I think that gives you a little bit more of that Cinnamon Toast Crunch feel. Yeah. So I know somebody asked, "What's Amburana?" Amburana is a Brazilian wood type. So it's native to Brazil. It's supposedly it's a pretty it's a stout. I'm not even gonna say it. It's just too easy. I was gonna say it's a hard wood. Supposedly it's a pretty solid wood. So it's I think it's challenging to make casks out of, from what I've heard, but oh my god, so stupid. Oh yeah, Rare Bird. I could see root beer too. Those root beer candies. Yeah, the little barrel ones that have like that little bit of like a coating on it. I totally see what you're saying, Rare Bird. That's delicious. William Wiley, thank you so much for sending that one. That's a really good finish. I like it with the profile of ASW. You have to just, like you said, you have to like a lot of root beer, a lot of apple, a lot of cinnamon, all that together, and really that's kind of the profile you're gonna get with an Amburana cask. All right, Boxo samples. Let's see here. I'm convinced at that point that Amburana finished vodka would taste amazing at this point. It might. I mean, Amburana can kind of do whatever. Oh, look what we just pulled here. Somebody asked for Lucky 7. Well, here it is. So one of my patrons sent me these. This is Lucky 7, the proprietor, 14-year single barrel number 69. So this shirt is just guiding the whole show tonight. It really, really is. So 69. So Lucky 7 is they're basically sourcing a lot of whiskey, mostly Barton, but they're getting these older, ultra-aged Barton casks, and I mean, they're picking some fantastic barrels. For those of you that have never seen a Lucky 7, this is what they look like. That is a Lucky 7 bottle. There you go. This is my 14-year. This happens to be barrel 44. So this is barrel 44. Yeah. Oh, shit. Solid wood? Yeah, that's what she said. So from a Lucky 7 standpoint, from some of the barrels that I've had, this is a little bit darker and richer than some of the ones I've. Some of the barrels you get with Lucky 7 can be just very straightforward, very just really nice. Where's? Let me do that one. You get all those bourbon. What's the bottle near the Yellowstone? Oh, this is another ASW. So this is ASW, which we just tried, the Amburana. This is the Red X whiskey. This is a straight single malt, 52.6 ABV. Welcome to Bedrock. Look at the sticker on that one. You guys see that one? That's pretty cool. I like Lucky 7, the Jokester. Actually, ADHD Whiskey just did a great video on it. If you guys want to check that one out. Yeah, Tim Cornet, we're still on the waiting list. We're hopefully will be soon. The message on that first sample, Amburana you tried, which batch was it? I sent both batch 1 and 2. Oh, this was batch 2. This one, which I really liked. The Lucky 7 Holiday Toast, I really liked. The only Lucky 7 I've had that I don't like, surprisingly, was the French Oak. Oh, wow. This one gets into like that Calumet area, like that Calumet, like 15. It's somewhere between 15 and 16. There's a lot of cherry licorice, cherry cola. And then you get a little bit of like the spice on the back end of that one. That's a nice barrel. There you go. Whiskey Central dropping it like it's hot. Thank you so much. The Frenchman is awesome. Bite your tongue. Yeah, Robotic. I don't know what it was about it. I mean, I was drinking a bunch of different whiskeys that night, so maybe that could have been it. I need to maybe revisit that with a clear palate. I usually love French Oak too, so it was surprised. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm really feeling this one. EJ, anybody that can't get Lucky 7, I mean, they sell them on their website. You can go online and get them. I know a lot of people don't like to pay shipping, but you can get these online. Obviously, the 14 sell out like that, but there are other products, the Holiday Toast, the 6-year, the Frenchman, the Holiday Toast. They are available online. So if you can't get them in your state, you can just order them. So I know there's still a lot of folks that I know that avoid buying online because they don't want to pay shipping. I mean, I get it, but if you have an opportunity to buy a bottle and you're saying you can't get it where you are and you don't want to pay the extra $20, I mean, $20. John Walker. No, I haven't reviewed the Holiday Toast yet. I haven't yet done a review on any Lucky 7s. I think what I want to do is get all of them and do a full lineup review, which would be kind of cool. Let me put that one back there. This is a really good barrel. This is like in the realm of Calumet. All right, so while I'm picking the next sample, let's do some live head-to-heads, guys. I know you guys like doing these live head-to-heads. Give me your ideas in the chat for a couple live head-to-heads that we can do tonight. We have a lot of time left here. Saucy Shane. Saucy Shane. Yeah, I totally agree. I think Matt was spot on with his review. All right, let's dive in here. Let's see what else we got. Copper Wolf, have you had anything from the King Family Distillery? There might be a sample of something in here from King Family, but I can't say I have. Let's go with what's here hiding in the corner. It's another Lucky 7. Yeah, I got multiple versions of that one. All right, let me put that one aside. Let's try to find something else here. What do we got here? Ooh, this sounds interesting. Okay. So this is a Castle and Key Restoration Rye barrel pick. I don't think I've had a barrel pick yet from Castle and Key. Let's give that one a go. I like Delta Foxtrot's. I like his thing here. Mellow corn versus ginger ale. Dude, mellow corn wins. What about mellow corn with ginger ale? Lucky 7 14 year versus ECBP 12 year. Old Tub versus OGD Ball and Bond. I think I did that on the review. Cock versus HH17. I think I did that. Didn't I do that already? I think I did that last week, Maddie. Well, if I didn't, then maybe we'll save that for the end. I'll remember that one. Oh, yeah, the Calumet 16 versus the Woodford Cast Strength. Yeah, we got to do that one. McKenna versus Early Times Bottle and Bond. These are some good ones. Calumet 16 versus Lucky 7. I mean, the problem with that is that the Lucky 7s are all single barrels, and the Calumet is a batch. So it really is just going to depend on what Lucky 7 barrel you have, honestly. Oh, Lewis Hill, Pingree 13 versus Russell's 13. That's a good matchup. Dusty OGD versus we could do a Dusty. You guys have some good ideas tonight. All right, Castle and Key, Restoration Rye, barrel pick. Oh, this is as rye as it comes. Holy shit. This is a lot of rye. This is like pure rye bread. This is orange marmalade. This is Christmas tree in a glass. Who's ready for the holidays? Are you guys seeing all the freaking Halloween shit already? What is with all the Halloween stuff? Every year it gets earlier and earlier. Does that mean like in September we're going to start seeing Christmas shit? I mean, it's crazy. I don't know if you guys are into Halloween decorations, but if any of you guys are, has anyone seen like the big run on these like 12-foot tall skeletons that they've been selling? I think it's like at Home Depot and Lowe's and all these places. There's it's a regular skeleton and it's got a screen for its eyes that are like LED, and the eyes like move and they look like real eyeballs. It's the fucking freakiest thing I've ever seen. My freaking Uncle Tony is all over that shit. Uncle Tony, if you're watching, I know you got one. You got to send pictures once you set it up. These 12-foot tall skeletons that people are buying up in droves and selling those on like eBay for like a higher price. I mean, you thought the secondary market in whiskey was crazy. The secondary market in Halloween decorations is bananas. Seriously. They've been having Christmas stuff in September for years. I'm already shopping for Valentine's. Jason C is going on an old guy rant. Yeah, I'm going on an old guy rant. Of course, yeah. We've been through this. I have an Uncle Tony. I was in Costco yesterday and they had Christmas stuff. Oh, I mean, usually the warehouse stores have Costco stuff early. 88 Wild Turkey, 8-year 101, ECBP batch 11, or 4 Wild Turkey. Oh, Aaron Williams. Aaron, you got to do the Wild Turkey 88. Aaron, if you're going to go all in on the Dusty, go Dusty. Yeah, that's like straight up drinking a Christmas tree. It's piney. It's orangey. It's spicy. Rye bread. Yeah. I mean, it's good. I think when this Castle and Key rye stuff ages up, man, is it going to be... This gives me like Thomas H. Handy vibes, but on like a little bit of a younger scale. I think when this stuff ages up, if it gets into the 6, 7, 8-year range, man, this stuff's going to be incredible. All right, let's do a head-to-head. So the one I liked that I saw, we'll do a Dusty one. Let's do the Pingree one. I definitely want to do the Pingree one. All right, let me grab that. Hope I don't fall on my ass here, guys. All right. Pingree 13. Russell's 13. I'm going to need my water. Jason, you need to put the benchmark single barrel up against Eagle Rare. It may surprise you. Okay. I like that idea. Do I have any of that left? I should. I should have that somewhere. Which one? The benchmark? What'd you say? The benchmark. I thought your cousin was Tony. Your Uncle Tony? No. My cousin is Vinny. Vincent. Vincent is my cousin. Tony is my uncle. Frankie, my Uncle Frank, is my other uncle. I'm not making this up. This is my family. I'm telling you. All right. Let's go Russell's 13. Now this is batch 2. This is from this year. And this is the Mayor Pingree 13 year. Oh man. Both of these are just stellar whiskeys. So in the chat, did any of you guys enter the lotteries for the birthday bourbon or the Four Roses? I'm always wondering to see who entered them. I entered both. I figured why not? What the hell? I enter the Four Roses every year. I never get a bottle, so I always have to end up overpaying to get one. And then when it comes to the birthday bourbon, I mean, that's as impossible as it was already. Now it's gonna be even more impossible to get because you're gonna have 100 gazillion people trying to get one. Entered both. Entered both. Entered both. When can we get your wife in there? At least as assistant for water and shelf grabs. Yeah, she's so Alan, my girlfriend Kim, she made her first appearance on a live stream when we were in Wisconsin. If you go back on my bourbon journeys, if you go to his channel and you watch his 50th birthday bash live stream, his wife and my girlfriend were both on that live stream. So, but yeah, it's you know, she'll sometimes set up, you know, she'll set up my blind tastings for me, but you know, she very rarely wants to be on camera. All right. So let's look at the color here. The colors of both of these are pretty similar. Good dark color. Entered both. Yeah, I entered for the birthday bourbon. Entered both. Going to be an awesome road trip if I win, says Dustin Pichelle. Colt says entered both and the OHL Q Lotto. Nice. Bourbon Engineer said entered both and signed up for the neighbor's dog. Oh, by the way, any of you guys hear about the Little Book 6 and what that's going to be? Where is that? Let's see. Okay, yeah. Freddie No releases Little Book Chapter 6. So Little Book Chapter 6 this year. So Little Book is Freddie No. Fred No's son and recently crowned Master Distiller. Let's see if I could pull the image here for you guys, and I could show you here on the screen. It's one of the ones I forgot to talk about. Yeah, hard pass, says most people. Let's see here. I think I could grab it. Oh no, that's a video clip. I need to add the overlay, which is, there it is. All right, let me grab this one. I'll read you guys the stats for this. So here's Little Book Chapter 6. So it's called To the Finish, which is a little bit of a clue of what's in this bottle. $125. It will be retail on this. It's a blend of 5 whiskeys. All right, ready? 4-year-old. Let me say that again. I added an extra 4. 4-year-old straight malt whiskeys and a 5-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon. The straight malt whiskeys all start as the same American single malt whiskey before being aged with different wood staves and barrel techniques. After the individual agings, the liquids are blended back together. The 5-year-old bourbon is added to create the final blend. So here are the stave blends here. One of them, so you have 4 4-year-olds that are finished with different things. One of them is cherrywood. The other one is applewood smoke. The third one is hickory smoke barrels. The next one is maplewood staves. And the 5-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon is just there to kind of balance it all out. So that is the next Little Book, the next chapter in Little Book. Now, just going off the description, I feel like that's going to be a pretty smoky bourbon, I think. What are you guys saying in the chat? Oh, that's a hard pass. I'm on it. Sad that Little Book is overpriced junk now. $125 for Young Spirit. It needs more regular book. Are they making bacon or bourbon? What the hell are they doing? Can someone draw me a diagram? What does Jeffrey Wag say? Someone draw me a diagram of this blend. All right. 4-year, 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 and then 5-year. That's the whiskey blend. You have a 4 in cherrywood, a 4 in maplewood, a 4 in hickory, and what was the other one? The other 4 was a applewood smoke. Applewood, cherrywood, maplewood, and then the 5-year is there to balance all this craziness out. So that is the blend, Jeffrey Wack. I'll add some fun graphics for you in post editing. I just don't know like what's going on with Little Book. Everything has gone from like this great ultra aged liquid that they blended that Freddie would blend to now just all this young stuff. I can't get into it. I think that's just going to be a very, very smoky young whiskey, which it's like they're recreating Basil Hayden's Subtle Smoke, but at cast strength. That's like when I read all that, that's what immediately goes in my mind. All right, the noses on these. The Russell's 13 gives you more of like the fruit, the cherry, the dark fruit notes, I think, especially on this one. A lot of the sweet tobacco notes, a lot of the sweet oak. But then you get to the Pingree, and the Pingree is just like toasty. It's like slightly burnt gingerbread with cinnamon and chocolate. Oh my God. Both of these are... Let's see what wins out for me here. The Russell's has like that little hint of like a dusty funk to it. Some of that older whiskey really coming in and making a really nice impression. Like burnt caramel, hint of molasses. But that cherry note, it just reigns true, like that black cherry note, almost like that Luxardo cherry syrup type note. It doesn't get overly medicinal. I felt like if you've had Bottle & Bond 17, I think that got slightly more medicinal than this did with the cherry, that cherry flavor. That was more like a cherry lozenge to a point. But this comes in, there's a little bit like a root beer float vibe going on in Russell's 13. All right, let's go to the Mayor Pingree. The Mayor Pingree actually comes off darker, like more chocolate, more heavy on the barrel char, more oak forward. Damn. I mean, I don't know what I would really pick. I think tonight, actually, the Pingree might be hitting for me a little bit more here. That chocolate note that's on the Pingree is just ridiculous. It's just so like, it's just so in your face. Yeah. Tonight, I'm going to have to go with the Pingree. The Russell's 13 is ridiculously good. But that Pingree, I mean, I mean, we all know this is ultra aged MGP, but this particular bottle or blend that they did, just the amount of viscosity it has, it's even thicker on the palate than the Russell's is, which is nuts. This one comes in at this is 100, and this is right at 123 proof on this one. The Russell's at barrel proof is 114.8, so somewhat close, but this is drinking thicker and richer for me on the palate tonight. Yeah, John W, you have that pinger. It is. It's magical. That's hard to beat. I am going to milk this bottle, every last bit of it. Just savor it any chance I get. It's that damn good. This is an absolutely delicious release too this year. But again, as good as this is, and you know, I've said it before, I've had barrel picks that kind of get close to this. So this is a great, delicious, amazing Wild Turkey product, but I just don't think it's worth like some of the prices that people are paying for it, honestly. All right, let's go to the I want to do that Dusty matchup that Dusty Dan came up with. What do you say, Dusty OGD? I think I have an open one here. Dusty OGD versus a Dusty Turkey. I mean, how old should I go on the turkey here? What year is this one? This is this is an 89. That's an 80. Oh no, this is an 88. So this is an 88. KC Cast Strength versus Booker's. That's a good matchup, Justin. Let's see here. So we could do this Austin Nichols. This is an 8-year-old. This is the OGD, which is 86 proof. Oh, this is 101 proof. That's not gonna. These aren't gonna really measure up because the Wild Turkey is a 101. I would need a lower proof Wild Turkey to kind of go against this. Let me grab this one. Let me grab these guys. Let's do this matchup here. There we go. Screw top versus cork that hasn't broken, surprisingly. That's crazy. Double pour. That's right. That just happened. I know you're impressed. All right, here we go. Oh, I'll say this. I like the nose on the OGD a lot better than the Wild Turkey one here. Jeremy Winters. Dusty Dan's a badass. Don't mess with Dusty Dan. So, man, both of these have a dusty note to it. Now, people always ask me, oh, what do you mean like dusty note? When you say dusty, what does that mean? It means like the best way I could describe it is without it like sounding like gross, because you know some people say it's like, you know, kind of like think of like your grandma's basement. Like that type of like a dusty, like musty type of note to it. If you've ever been in like a musty basement, not so much mildewy, but you get kind of like this I don't know, there's just like a funk to it. Like the air isn't completely, you know, the air isn't completely like clean, but at the same time it's not like terrible. I'm not sure how to describe like a dusty note to it. Like there's like the mustiness that's to it, where it's like if you've ever like taken apart like an old deck or something just made of old wood, and it gets like oversaturated or it starts just getting like really musty. Sometimes when you break that wood up, you get like this whiff of like a mustiness to it. And that's what kind of that smell is. But you kind of combine that with like sweet, like butterscotchy notes. And I think that's what you kind of end up with. Yeah, dank funk. Good cork equals fake turkey. No other explanation. Well, this one isn't that old. So that's probably why the cork kind of remained true. Yeah, like antique stained wood varnished, and that's kind of a good way to put it. All right, let's see what we get here. The old wild turkeys are more butterscotch forward, I think, than they are today. Today, I think you get a little bit more of like a vanilla cream and like an orange spice, an orange jam to it. This old granddad at 86 proof. This is the vanilla butterscotch ice cream bomb, but it just doesn't have the finish. I think the finish, obviously, easy win. Wins easily from the wild turkey perspective. While the old granddad 86, just on the palate, is just a little bit more interesting. From a dusty profile. So we're gonna blend the wild granddad, the dusty wild granddad. We're just gonna blend it here. We're gonna let that sit a bit. See what that turns into. All right. How's coming with getting Nancy Fraley, the Nose Fraley, on again as a guest? Yeah, we're just working on some dates. The Wolf of Bourbon Street, to get her on once she kind of finishes her projects. One thing I will say that's going to be happening. I believe it's September. Let me get the date right here, guys. September 28th. September 28th, Wednesday night, right here on the Mash and Drum. We're gonna be talking. We're gonna get a little nerdy. We're gonna be talking barrels, barrels, as I say, it's so weird. Barrels. We're gonna be talking barrels with a representative from Kelvin Cooperage. So Kelvin Cooperage will be on the channel. We're gonna be talking about making barrels, sourcing barrels. The barrel shortage, which they said was already in 2024, coming in 2024. But guys, I will tell you, the barrel shortage is already here. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. We're also going to be having a guest from Scotland on at the same time that will be talking about what the barrels and aging from a Scottish perspective. So that's going to be September 28th. Both of those guests will be on at the same time, talking everything we want to know. So anything you want to know about the science and the making of barrels and where we stand with barrels here in 2022 will be addressed on September 28th. So that's going to be a fantastic live stream. I think I think I'm going to learn a lot, and so will you guys. That's going to be really, really cool. Robotics says I'm a barrel shortage denier. Yeah, I'm gonna try the wild granddad. So that'll be great. Thoughts on the upcoming Winter's Nights Dram release? We kind of talked about that, I think, last week or the week before. I think that fans of the original Midwinter's Nights Dram might be a little disappointed because it's a different finish. You're looking at a white port instead of the ruby or tawny port. So it's a little bit of a lighter port. It might be a little bit sweeter. Not really sure how long they're leaving it in those casks. But being a limited release and being, an anniversary, it's just going to make it that much more hard to get. So I think once it starts hitting stores, a lot of places, Midwinter's Nights Dram are already upcharged. Now we're going to probably see it even more so, which just sucks for everybody. So that's my thoughts on it. Like, anytime you see anniversary on a label, you just got to throw your hands up and just say, well, I'm fucked. I'm Probably never going to see that batch. I missed a super chat from Copper Wolf. Don't know if it's a hitter or what, or Bourbon Deluxe 1970. Bourbon Deluxe, those are really good, Copper Wolf. Copper Wolf 87. I think you got yourself a nice bottle there. It's yep. Bourbon Deluxe. I had one of those at what do you call it? Bardstown Bourbon Company. It's very similar to the old Granddad I just had. So that butterscotchy, dusty note, if that sounded good to you, then you got it with that Bourbon Deluxe, man. That worked really, really well. By the way, speaking of blends, I'm starting to get a lot of blends for Blendageddon. Guys, they are rolling in. So if you guys haven't, oh shit, was September 28th going to be when I started Blendageddon? I just realized I might need to switch my date with that group. I think I was going to start Blendageddon on the 28th. Well, if I have to push it, I have to push it because I think I'm still getting blends. But if you guys are still working on a blend for Blendageddon, make sure you email me at themashanddrum@gmail.com to get your blends in. I'll tell you exactly where to send them. So far, there's, already upstairs, I got like maybe 8-9 blends already, and I already know there's about 6 to 7 more on the way. So more and more are starting to come in here. So I think it's going to be a really fierce competition. I also think that some folks are getting a little bit timid on entering because they feel like it's a lot of pressure because not only you got to make a blend, but you also have to make enough of it to compete in future rounds. And I think that's the real challenge this year, which is why I did that, because a blend can change. A blend can be really good one week, and then the next, after it sits a little bit, it could taste like shit. So you guys have to not only create your blends now and see how it tastes, but make sure that blend stays true in the weeks to come. So that's the challenge. Yeah, a lot of shortages. All right. This blend works. That's good. All right. One matchup I wanted to do before I forget is the Woodford 118.4 versus the Calumet 16. Nope, that's the 15. Where's my 16? There's 16. There's my 16. All right, let's mix it up a little bit. Calumet 16. That's not going to fit. And Woodford Reserve here. All right. So Woodford Reserve, non-age stated, heat cycled warehouses, about $130, $140, maybe $160 or even more in some places. Calumet 16, $130. This is 106 proof, a little less proof than this baby right here. All right. Let's see here. Sorry if I'm missing your guys' chats. Found North 18 versus Larceny. I don't have the Larceny B522. I never got a bottle of that. I love the Found North. We've had it on the channel. Jeffrey Wax says my blend is the bomb. Just saying. Wondering what would happen if you blended the very fine and rare with last year's batch proof. I think I tried that, Jeb. I don't think it improves it at all, but we'll see. Let's go here. I like the Woodford more on the nose. It's a little bit more of a coffee flavor I'm getting now here. All right, Saucy Shane, I'm ready. Man, this just gets sweeter and sweeter every time I go to it, and spicy. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I think I like the Woodford better. Honestly. I've never thought of comparing these two, but I think in a blind, the Woodford might stand out more because I just think it has more punch to it. I think some of the more youthful notes are starting to come out in the Woodford, but the more aged notes are still kind of taking it over. Yeah. And you know what? In the beginning, I was saying that 16 isn't as cherry forward as 15, but the cherry is starting to come out in the 16 a lot. Every time I go back to this, every time someone tells me to blind this against something, the more of the cherry comes up. King Cake, what's the gotta have bottle this fall for you? It's gotta be the Wild Turkey Master's Keep. This year it's a Bourye. It's a blend of bourbon and rye. I gotta have that bottle. I gotta have it. That's my go-to bottle right now. I want to get it. I want it. Yeah, that's probably my big get bottle so far. What about you guys? Is it the Four Roses too? I'd put up there those two bottles, and you know that Russell's Reserve single Rickhouse. As much as I don't want to pay $250 for it, you know, there's a part of me that still wants it, just because. I mean, I'm a turkey head. It's kind of hard to say no to a bottle like that, honestly. Yeah, I'm digging this Woodford. That Woodford is smoking everything in blinds. I feel like it's going to make some top 10s this year. I think it's going to do some great things in the blind this year. I always do an end of the year blind. We'll see how it goes. Ben, yeah, good flavor notes on a Bourye. That's a great question. I think for me, it's not so much the flavor notes. It's more about the palate for me on a Bourye. I got to have all the sweetness of a bourbon with the components of a rye. Like, so if you get like the vanilla, the caramel, your typical bourbon notes, and then you get the spice mixed with like some of that orange marmalade from a rye, nice long finish. That's really what makes a great Bourye, I think. My gotta have is your Yellowstone pick. Yeah, we're still waiting to find out when that's coming. Richie Z, Booker single barrel. So Richie Z, you want to try to get this bottle right here, the Little Book single barrel, or the Booker single barrel, I should say. I don't know if you're gonna get that bottle, but you might. All right, let's end the night with another blind sample here. I'm gonna go back and rewatch some of the suggestions you guys had for head-to-heads, and maybe next week we'll just do a bunch of head-to-heads because that sounds fun. Unless I get some really cool samples. I do have a sample. I will say I do have a sample of this year's birthday bourbon on the way. So if I get it before next week, you'll see a review on it. If you don't, I'll do I'll crack it open with you guys live here on Wednesday night. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Let's go down here. Let's see what we got here. Nah, I already did a Castle and Key. I don't want to do another one. What else we got? What's this? You know what? Unfuck it. I'm just going to handpick. Oh, here's one I haven't had yet. All right. Way to end the night. I have not had this whiskey yet this year. This is the Old Carter American Whiskey Batch 8. 135.2 proof. I have not had this yet this year. I think the Old Carters are just getting harder and harder to get. As soon as they hit the market, people buy them up. And yeah, and then that's it. Let's see here. Saving the Red X. Yeah, I might crack that open on Instagram, William. I might want to do something with Wit, with Mr. Witsky himself before cracking that open. So this is the Old Carter American Whiskey Batch 8. Okay. I always say if you're going to buy an Old Carter, if you're going to take the plunge and spend the money in an Old Carter, go with an American whiskey. I think they're the more unique and the more delicious flavor profiles that they make. It's not a bottle, Alan. It's a sample from the distillery. It's just it's a media sample. That's all it is. It's not a bottle. Oh, well, that's candy corns, buttered popcorn, and caramel corn, all wrapped up into one delicious glass. Oh yeah, Remus Repeal Reserve 6. That's one that I'm on the lookout for too. Yeah, this has all the hallmarks of a good Old Carter American whiskey. It's very, very sweet. Remember, there's light whiskey blended in here, so you're gonna have more of that real, just like powdered sugar forward profile. That's good. That is good shit. You want a unique OC? You should try their straight Kentucky bourbon. Just weird. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, Mike B. I'm not a fan of that one. Yes, Big Vic's backyard. He's the one that sent that over to me. So Big Vic sending me the Old Carter American Whiskey Batch 8. Thank you so much, my man. This is really good. I still maintain that #1 is the best batch of all time that they made. American Whiskey Batch 1 is still the best ever. I mean, people love, I think, Batch 4, Batch 6, but Batch 1, I think, was the best ever. Too much homebrew tonight, says Alan Pulaski. Yeah, what time is it? 10:59. All right. So I think, man, if there's anything else tonight, that I have anything else to talk about. Trying to think here. So for any Mass and Journey Club members, we just finished our collaboration with cigarclub.com. So we just picked out a cigar, a custom cigar that we're going to release with a third Barrel King release. That is a MGP bourbon finished in a Stag Junior Batch 17 barrel. That's right. A bourbon finished in a Stag Junior 17 barrel. Actually, I think I know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do a little bit of a live stream here tonight with my patrons. So all you guys, if you're still up and hanging out, I'll send you an invite. If you guys are kind of leaving here, go check out Women of Whiskeys right after this. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Cheers, guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. There was a lot of news to go through. Next week, we'll drink a little bit more whiskey, and I'll read some more of your head-to-head so we can kind of prepare some of those next week. And I think what I'm going to do is do them blind. So we'll see how they work out. So cheers. Thanks so much for watching. As I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Cheers. Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody who sent in samples tonight. Love you guys. Take care.